Okay, Jim. So most people know you as the founder of 1-800-Flowers, but you've also been heavily involved in Worth. What's driving the impact for Worth and what you like to say, worth beyond wealth?
Well, the team at the Worth Media Group rebranded and repositioned the company as we first got involved, which about 6 years ago now. And I really loved how they came up with the idea of worth beyond wealth. The history of Worth magazine, now part of Worth Media Group, was founded right here in Boston by Fidelity. And they were focused on wealth management, everything around finance of the high net worth community. But the team, when we purchased the magazine and turned it into Worth Media Group, we were all about different. We want, yes, it's about finances, that's important. And we really focus on the wealth management community, very important community to us, and how do we serve them. But it was also the things beyond wealth. And health and wellness just percolated to the surface for us. And it seems to me, it's like when you buy a red car, everyone has a red car. It seems to me, as I developed an interest in this space over the last couple of years, seemed everyone I came in contact with was interested in trying to learn and trying to steep their own learning in what's really going on in the health and wellness space.
Why do you think it's so important for all of us to focus on health and wellness and longevity?
I don't know if you've heard of this thing they invented called YouTube, but I find it to be my go-to viewing on anything now. I'm on an airplane, I'm looking at things that I've downloaded that I want to watch later on. It's just such a treasure trove of knowledge, and it's in digestible form. You can get a white paper and maybe you read some of it, but to get smaller versions, smaller bursts, like all our attentions going back to short form, you can really accelerate your learning. And for me, the older I get, the more interested I am in longevity. So if you're a young punk like you with two little kids, you're focused on getting the kids out of the house, getting to
Surviving.
school,
Yes.
getting through the weekend of 12 hours on the ball field, those kinds of things. Uh, and in my case, I'm a father of three. We have 7 grandkids, and I'm keenly interested in changing the behaviors that we as a society have drifted into without much thought. And I want to bend the curve for my grandkids.
Who are you paying attention to on YouTube? Who should we be following?
Well, I had a conversation with Matt from John Hancock. Where's Matt? Good. You got rid of him?
Okay.
Uh, but he's from John Hancock, and his CMO will be on the program in a little while. And I think it's really interesting. Here's a life insurance company that's focused on helping their clients to live longer and better. Now, here's where economic interests are aligned. A life insurance company wants you to live longer because it saves them money. So that's real economic alignment. And for me, I'm just interested in how to now not only live longer, but live better. And so when I look at YouTube, there's a doctor that they're aligned with at John Hancock named Mark Hyman, and he's someone I've become a fan of. And there's several people in this room here. One will be here later on this afternoon that we just had on our podcast. So
Hmm.
Elisa produces 2 of our podcasts, one at Worth and one at the Flowers Companies. And we just had a wonderful lady on who was here at Harvard. Now she's in Manhattan. But she's a nutritional psychiatrist. And I've not heard of nutritional psychiatrists before, Dr. Sumi Naidu. But when you think about it, it makes all the sense in the world that nutrition has a direct bearing on how we feel and on our emotions. If you've all had some caffeine this morning, it changes how we feel and how our bodies work. So the whole idea of how we eat and consume is going to have a direct bearing on our health and our mental health. And I found that to be intriguing subject. So I get to hang around with smart people like Lisa and Josh and Dan and Paul and even Michaela, who's somewhat smart. Michaela's new to our team, not quite a year yet, but works for Lisa. And I get to hang around with these terrific young people and pursue things that are of great interest to me. So who's luckier than me?
You mentioned some of your own health journey and sugar being a focus for you. Tell us what you found out and some revelations on sugar.
Well, I think it's the cause of so many of our health issues today, and so I become the sugar Nazi in my family. Uh,
And in the office.
Maybe, and we manufacture a lot of chocolate at the Flowers Companies. We have a few different chocolate brands, and so I'm not against them, but I think how we consume them. But I will tell you that I was out the end of last summer. We were out at a place for lunch, and my then 6-year-old grandson was bugging his dad for something to drink, and his father ordered him a Sprite. Well, my son and I then got into a wrestling match, rolled across the table. It's fun for me to learn and to bring good science, and I now fancy myself the editor-in-chief of my family's consumption. So they will tell you, "Oh God, here comes some more stuff from Grandpa." But I think getting our sensitivities right about how we consume foods. So last summer, we're on the beach, and I have my youngest son is married to a Italian American gal, and their 2 kids asked them for a snack on the beach. I was so proud of Jen. She said, sure. She got an avocado out for each of them and gave them a spoon, and that was their snack. And then my daughter was to the right of me with her 3 kids, and they asked for a snack, and she pulled out the bags of chips. We had a little discussion on the beach, and my daughter will speak to me again soon. But I think it's fun for me to learn, and it's fun for me to be around smart people who know so many things about so many areas that I don't. And I consider myself the pain in the ass, editor-in-chief of knowledge in my family.
But be honest, what do you miss most that you cut out of your diet?
Well, in the last couple of years, we had some health issues in my family, and so that caused me to say, okay, what causes cancer? What contributes to it? And done a deep dive there. And so I'm very proud to tell you that I just went on a trip with my wife. I mentioned this last night to a guest here. Every 50 years, we go on a vacation. And so we were just married 50 years, so we just had a vacation. We flew to Istanbul, and then we got on a Ritz-Carlton yacht, which if you haven't had that experience, they're a partner of ours at Worth. It is extraordinary. And that's really the first time my wife and I have cruised. And we cruised all through the Greek Isles, finished up in Athens, spent a couple of days there, and flew back on Monday night. And what I'm proud of, I got on the scale on Tuesday morning. I hadn't gained weight because I don't eat desserts. I gave up Diet Coke, which I used to be addicted to,
That's what I thought you were going to say, Diet Coke.
and snacks. That if you don't eat desserts and you don't eat bread, do all the good food you want, and then had wine on the boat.
So let's shift gears a little bit because you were also on the board of NYU Langone, which is one of the top academic medical centers in the country. Give us a little insight of what the focus is over there and some of the new updates within the organization.
Well, NYU Langone is indeed one of the premier health systems, like you have a couple here. And I was on the board of our local hospital on Long Island. And we realized 4 or 5 years ago, right before COVID, that we really couldn't go it on alone. It was a great hospital. It's the best on Long Island. But as a standalone hospital, it was fragile. So we shopped around to which health system would we align with, and we decided that it was best to go with NYU Langone. And Ken Langone is a neighbor of mine, a friend, a mentor. Frankly, he's a hero of mine. 89 years old, just stepped down after 30 years as chairman of the board of NYU Langone, put this place on his back, and he and the CEO that he hired turned it into one of the first-class institutions in the country that could stand up with anybody. And what I found out there that what's important, so the punishment was after convincing our board on Long Island that we should be part of NYU, every Saturday morning I'd take 2 or 3 board members. We'd go have breakfast at Ken's house. They'd see that he wasn't evil, that he was a great man with great passion, and has given billions of dollars to NYU, now NYU Langone. And he's just passionate about doing the right thing. And the punishment for making that happen was he asked me to join the board of the health system when we did the merger. And what I realized is that you all know, it's all about having the right access. Josh mentioned the Milken Institute. So we've been involved there as a media partner with the Milken Institute for a few years now. And I was there the first year, and I sat in on an oncology panel. Don't ask me why, but I was able to find a seat, and it was fascinating. But the lady, I think she was the chief scientist at Pfizer, mentioned with this distinguished panel that she had, that if you got cancer in the United States, you had pretty good odds of surviving. But if you didn't have access to the right places, your odds weren't very good. So what I realized, it's all about access. And we're lucky to live in this area or in New York or in Cleveland or near the Mayo Clinic. If you're near, or Cedars-Sinai, if you're near one of the big health systems, you have excellent chances, especially if you have access. But if you don't, it's very different. So we're fortunate as a family that we have access because luck and happenstance. But the question is, how do we use technology to broaden that knowledge, that skill set, so that more and more people have access to first-class care?
Advice would you give to other business leaders or investors who want to be able to raise capital for world-class healthcare across all regions?
Well, I think it's all about community,
Yeah.
creating a community. When Ken asked me when he acquired the first Long Island hospital, which was then called Winthrop, right in the middle of Nassau County, he said, "We don't have any fundraising apparatus here on Long Island. Could you help us build that?" And so what we did was I created a program where I'm at the age where I have friends who are retiring or retired already, and the conversations when they retired at dinner would tend to get a little narrow. Did I tell you I almost got a birdie the other day? I said, "No, please tell me all about it." So what I did was I created some communities, and they helped me identify a scientist in our NYU Langone community who I thought was doing some great work. And the first one was a fellow named Alec Kimmelman, MD, PhD, specialty in cancer, and he's a terrific man. And so I created a community, invited couples that I knew to come to dinner, meet him, and then to become part of his consulting group. So we created communities around scientists where they had an interest, and his specialty is pancreatic cancer. Very difficult, obviously. And so we created a community about 20, 23, 4 people who became his network. And they'd convene for dinner a couple of times a year. He'd do a Zoom call once a month with them, what's going on in the lab, what's going on here. And we found a way to create community of people who might not have had an interest in the first place, but by creating community, they were comfortable introducing him to other people, comfortable helping him raise money, get the word out about what he's doing. And the other fellow, Dr. Jonathan Haas, who did the first cyber knife on Long Island. Personally, I would say I've referred over 20 people to him that would tell you that referral saved their lives because he was able to treat their prostate cancer in a non-invasive kind of way, 5 days of treatment, no pain. And I'm amazed when I come across people who've still never heard of the cyber knife. So it's all about creating community and creating community of interest. And you never know where that's going to go. I think we all know where that's going to go. People are involved. They have an ownership. And now we're there at dinner, and she's not talking about what's going on at the club. She's telling her friends what's going on with Dr. Kimmelman or Dr. Haas and what they're working on. Maybe I can get you into the next dinner and to meet him. And then the referral network grows and the community of interest grows and good things happen.
You talk about community. Tell me about the relationships within the community. I know that's something that's super important to you. How do you develop the relationships in either the healthcare system or beyond?
Well, just this morning when we were having our coffee or tea outside, I meet this crazy guy, Winston, here this morning. Hello, Winston. And his wife, and I find out he's an angel investor and he's doing some things in healthcare, and he's only more based here in Boston, grew up here. And I met him because he knows Dr. Bobby Wagner, who you'll hear from today, who's a terrific person. And you and I met her about a year ago when she reached out and said, "I love all the things you're doing. Any chance we could talk?" And so we met over the course of the last year. We become good friends. And she invited Winston and his wife to come this morning. That's how it happens. Good people, interesting people. You get me one person. And she said, "Could I invite someone to the program?" We said, yes. We didn't realize it was going to be Winston. Otherwise, we might not have said yes. But that's how it happens. And Winston is going to say, is there an investment opportunity for us? And when you create those communities, somebody knows somebody who's investing in that area. And at Worth, that's our calling card is we convene groups, and especially we convene groups of common interest. And like after today, wonderful things will come from convening today.
You talk about having conversations and Dr. Bobby, who you have had on your podcast, as well as some other individuals that are here today, such as Dr. Somi Javid, which you'll hear from later on, and Dr. Ami Bhatt, which you will be interviewing as well. Why are those conversations so meaningful to you, and what are you learning from them and then sharing?
Well, Dr. Ami is 2 years out of practice in cardiology, and she works for the Cardiology Association. She's doing some amazing science. And to see the magic when she met Valish Patel, who's Valish? Over here, when she met him last night, and they connected. And Dr. Patel MD, PhD, went right into science and didn't practice after he got all this crazy good education. By the way, we found out a recurring theme last night. If you haven't noticed, I'm not from Boston. I have a slight Queens accent, and so does, no, he doesn't. But we found out there were about 8 or 9 of us all born in Queens, right? Brooklyn, Coney Island, Brooklyn. So we've been invading this marketplace, so us New Yorkers. But to see the magic that happened from Dr. Dami and Dr. Patel, who runs an outfit called Sensei, that he created at the behest of Larry Ellison from Oracle with Dr. Agus. And when you hear from him later, I won't steal a thunder. This is to see that spark happen last night and to see them instantly connect. And we could do this together. That really gets me going.
So what's your hope for today and the outcome that everybody can walk away with?
That we sneak some more Queens people in here, right, Kelly? That we hear more stories about great connection, great ideas. How can we at Worth, with whatever resources we have, accelerate those dialogues, those discoveries, that funding, that shining a light on different scientists and the great work we're doing, create communities for scientists that need and would benefit from a community that helps them financially, publicity-wise, good counsel, and friendship.
So I do have to quote, you were quoted in the Wall Street Journal recently that you fired from 1-800-Flowers.
This is the marketing genius that I am not. So Lisa obviously knew that I was going to be stepping down. I had hired a replacement for me, and we were going to announce it on Thursday afternoon after the market closed. And on Tuesday, we were in our New York City office, and Lisa and a lady at the PR say, "Hey, do you think we should try and get some publicity around this?" I said, "This is a non-story. I retired once. I had to come back for health reasons in the family because my younger brother, who took my place, had to step down. So I came back for a short period of time, and I'm stepping away again." I said, "This is a non-story. Don't bother." They said, "Well, do you mind if we reach out to our friend at the Journal?" I said, "Go ahead. Good luck." Friday, front page of the Wall Street Journal, right below the picture of the new Pope, was a story about the fact that so I really have my thumb on the pulse of what people are interested in. But the story is a genuine one. A fellow taught me many years ago that the best thing you can do is fire yourself when there are other people who can do your job well enough that you could go and do only the things that only you could do. And so that's what I finally came to the realization of. Flowers, a couple of $1 billion company, should be a $5 billion company. And it's going to take someone with different skills than mine to get us there. And so I went and found somebody who had that skill set different than mine. And so it was time for me to fire myself, and I felt very good about it.
Well, it's not usual for leaders to admit that they need additional assistance within the company. What can you tell other leaders who might want to ask for help?
I think the advice I got from Mr. Gerber 30 years ago was do the things that only you can do. And if someone else can do the other parts of your job better, you and your organization are going to benefit from that. And that's what I decided.
Any other insights for today? Anything you're looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to the great program we have. There's some really, really deep knowledge here, and I can't wait to scribble and learn a lot more today.
Thank you so much, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.